All around the NBA on this Friday night, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games in the association on this Friday evening. And Joe, let's start with the seventh and final out in San Francisco in Northern California. Basically a pick'em between the Suns and the Warriors. Phoenix, a slight 1.5 favorite on the road. That spread adding on the hook. The money line adding on 4 cents. In a total of 229.5, slightly on the rise. Joe, this is Phoenix's third game this week. They're prior to at home against the Clippers and the Timberwolves. And basically, at some point of the day, Phoenix was playing in a pick'em game against both LA and Minnesota. Phoenix won the game against the Clippers, lost the game against the Timberwolves. Basically a pick'em in Northern California tonight against the Dubs. What do you make of it?
I think you can label this, Ben, the game for Jimmy Butler. Huh? What do you think of that? Which one of these teams wins and then wins the bidding war for Jimmy Butler? Although I would not want him on either of these teams here, but these are the two teams that have been linked the most to Jimmy Butler and a possible change here. But listen, Phoenix has been pretty decent outside of that, the way they threw up all over themselves late against Minnesota a couple of nights ago. Prior to that, Ben, they had been ripping off and rattling off quietly a bunch of wins. They had moved 3 games over 500. That was for the first time since mid-December. The 121-113 loss to Minnesota Wednesday night. Durant still dropped 33. Booker had 28. They don't have any bench, and that's the problem. You got Bradley Beal coming off the bench. That's nice, but you're paying him $15 million. I think Phoenix has the opportunity to make a little bit of a run here, but you got to be able to beat a struggling Golden State Warriors team, and I think they can here tonight.
And the Dubs are struggling. They started 12-3. They did get a victory at home outright as a 9.5-point underdog against OKC just a few nights ago. Huge victory for the Dubs in doing so, despite 52 points scored by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They still are 12-20 since that 12-3 start. Yes, Phoenix did stumble. Not a great second half against Minnesota earlier this week either, but they had won 9 of their last 12, that being the Suns in the lead up to that. They're above 500. The Warriors a game above 500. Both teams kind of battling for play-in positions right now in the Western Conference. Not exactly where we expected these two teams to be entering, but where they are right now, past the midway point of this NBA season, 6 days away from next Thursday's NBA trade deadline in the Jimmy Butler Bowl. Perhaps tonight, Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs host the Milwaukee Bucks. 2.5-point spread in favor of Milwaukee on the road. Total stands at 234. Wemby, an all-star for the first time in his NBA career. The Bucks playing much better basketball since a 2-8 disastrous start to their season. But Joe is a favorite in Dame's second return to the Rose City earlier this week against the Trailblazers. Milwaukee got beat bad by double digits outright in Portland. How do they respond, if at all, in San Antonio?
Yeah, that was a actual awful second half in Portland by Milwaukee. But they have an opportunity to right that ship here. And the Spurs, listen, they're going through some growing pains. Obviously, much better team than we had a year ago, but I don't think that trip to Paris has done them any favors either, Ben. They are at home, and it feels like outside of that, outside of that little blip on the radar in the second half against Portland, I think Milwaukee, we can make the argument, has been over the last month, shall we say, one of the best teams in the NBA. They seem to have finally figured it out here, and I like them to go in there and be able to handle business. I do not see them losing back-to-back games against Portland and then San Antonio on the road. I think Milwaukee wins this game easily.
Yeah, I would agree, Joe. The spread right now only being 2.5, a little bit susceptible at this moment. Denver on the road in Philadelphia against the 76ers. The Nuggets 9.5-point favorites, total 234. Denver did not have a great night as it continues its East Coast swing inside Madison Square Garden just a few nights ago. Nikola Jokic, one of his worst performances in the last month or so, 17 points, 6 boards, and 6 dimes. But keep an eye on the 76ers. Joe, this team's still well below 500, 19 and 27. But they have won 4 straight games, all 4 outright as an underdog. Can they play spoiler once again at home tonight inside the Wells Fargo Center against the Nuggets?
3 in a row Denver has lost. I mean, when is the last time you think we would have been saying that? And you know why they have lost there, Ben? Certainly against the Knicks. Their defense has gone MIA. What defense? The Knicks outshot them easily in that second half and pulled away from them. Listen, I think at this point, if you're looking at Denver, you're just looking at Joker going and getting his triple-double. Look at his points. Look at his rebounds. Look at his assists. But I will say this, give credit. 4 straight wins for the Philadelphia 76ers. But the problem is their last loss, Ben, at Denver by 35 points. So they are going to have to turn it around. I wouldn't be laying this number with don't catch a falling knife here. I would only take the points, but I like the props with the Joker more.
Nuggets 28 and 19 this year, still the 4th best mark at the moment in the Western Conference. That's 47 total games for Denver. Tonight about to be 48. The Nugs have been booked as a favorite in a good majority of them, 34 to be exact, 16, 17, and 1 against the spread. 3 teams in the NBA have played 30 games so far this year or more to the over. Cleveland the most, 32. Memphis second most, 31. Denver rounds out that trio with 30 games of 47 to the over. Could Tyrese Maxey be a little bit spurned tonight by not being named an all-star reserve in the Eastern Conference? 30.5, his prop did drop a 43-point game or so earlier this week.